Fun night overall?
Yeah, it was a good one. It was kind of crazy with the weather kind of eerie around us with all the lightning going on and everything and the wind, but both teams got to play in that. So I was happy our guys showed up well, and Ben Jacobs gave us a great start. Offense did what they've been doing lately. A lot of contributors up and down the lineup, and Matt Teeding closed it out. So defense all in all played pretty well, except for the pop-ups. But I think both teams were a little confused with how much wind there was up there above the stadium. But end of the day, it's a good win, good way to start the series.
Last 2 weeks rather, it's kind of been the best starts of Ben's college career. What have you seen from him, the change now that he's really taken over this Friday role?
Just confidence, all in all confidence, attacking the zone and trusting his stuff. There's a couple innings that you can tell his growth and maturity, I guess, where some things happen behind him that aren't in his control, that maybe earlier in the year or whatnot, that he would maybe let that spiral. He just continued to attack the zone, trust his stuff, pitch his way out of it. I think he had first and third there with no outs. I don't know if he struck out 3 straight there, but was able to get out of that. Had a misplay on a pop-up where guy at second base, he left him stranded there. So that's just a sign of him maturing and coming into his own and being confident in what he's doing. And he and Sammy were on the same page most of the night tonight, and it was fun to watch him throw. He did a great job.
How about him versus the lefties? The top 2 guys in the lineup didn't even touch him.
Well, I mean, those are 2 pretty good players too. So, again, just happy the way he's throwing the ball. We're going to need him to keep doing that.
Overall, this pitching staff has been incredible these last 4 ball games, least amount of runs in a 4-game stint in 4 seasons for this group. What do you feel has been the split or the difference these last couple of ball games for this group to get back into the zone?
Credit to the players, credit to Sammy, for continuing to grind with those guys and trying to find the right recipes, what's going to make them work and make them tick, and ultimately get them to be the best that they can. And as of late, it's been great. And again, I think it starts with the length of our starting pitching. We get any kind of length out of them, it helps everything fall into place. So, hats off to the starting pitching as of late.
Matt was talking before you came in here about, he's kind of had to be a little bit more of a veteran role for this pitching staff. So many different freshmen, and both Isaiah and Ben both credited him with kind of being a leader of this group. How do you feel some of the upperclassmen arms have kind of been helping out this younger group?
Well, that was, we knew they were going to have to do that. Matt Teeding, Jonah Giblin, Schieffer, even though doesn't have a lot of experience, he is an older guy. This is as a result of the draft, what happened last year, and losing, guys that we anticipated maybe having back this year. And so we got left with, we got left with a lot of young kids that are being thrown into roles much sooner than anybody else. You look across the country, every time we've faced a freshman, we've lit them up, right? And we're trying to win with freshmanism for the most part. That's not an excuse by any means, but we did understand that there's going to be some growing pains, and for them to last, at times as long as they have, we get frustrated like everybody else, man. But at the end of the day, that's what we were left with. After we didn't anticipate all these, having to rely on all these freshmen this early, but the facts are the facts. At this point of the season, they're no longer freshmen, in my opinion. That's beyond them in the rearview mirror. So, but it is important to have that older veteran leadership, I guess, to talk them through stuff. We can coach them and try to I won't say sympathize, but get into their minds and help them through certain situations. But the most powerful part of that is the peers that can help them through whatever situations they're going with and relate to them a little bit better. And to me, that's key, to have those older guys that can help navigate the waters with those younger guys.
You
Isaiah
mentioned
goes 4 for 4 tonight. He said it was his dad's birthday. Are you trying to find more family members of his to invite to the games if it's their birthday?
Man, I hope hopefully it's his mom's birthday tomorrow and uncle's the following day or whatever. But Isaiah's father is a tremendous man. So I'm glad Zay gave him a great birthday present today.
You mentioned some of the freshmen that you faced. You've lit them up. your freshmen have had some better outings recently. What's been the difference between your freshmen and everybody else's?
Ours have probably been thrown out there more often. So they're working through it, and several of these guys have shown tremendous progress throughout the year. And to me, that's again, I credit Sammy for the amount of work he's putting in for those guys, and I credit the kids too, players, that they're willing to buy in and continue to grind and know that they were going to take some lumps along the way. And those lumps aren't over by any means. We're still, they're not going to be perfect, but as long as they continue to learn from what they're doing and continue to grow, then those guys' future is hopefully very bright.
Do you hope that kind of gives you an advantage 2-3 years from now, should they stay with the program and keep developing like this?
That's the plan. I think again that they've gotten an opportunity to come out, and you look at Ben Jacobs. He's a sophomore, but he got 5 innings last year. So he's basically essentially a freshman as well. And Ryan Schieffer is didn't really pitch much at Grand Canyon, didn't pitch at Central last year a whole lot, and now he's arguably our best guy out of the bullpen. So we're doing this with a lot of inexperienced guys. Really, the only guys that have a whole lot of experience are Markle and Omelet, for the most part. And there's a few. Giblin's got a little bit, Maddie's got a little bit, but so that's trying to be realistic, along the way, but also, I think it does do a lot for our future, but it's also doing a lot for us at the end of this year. So
Isaiah last Sunday was talking about 1 through 15 in this lineup. Anybody's going to be able to hit. There's really not a weaker part of this order. All 9 starters, they got a base hit. If you could speak a little more on the depth of hitting, especially in a time like this where this group is red hot.
Well, I think it's again, these guys are, work ethic is off the charts, to the point where we've had to try to pull it back a little bit, because I think they swing in there so much at times that they get a little bit fatigued, and we're trying to navigate those waters and make sure they stay fresh down the stretch. Continuing to try to mix guys in. We have a surplus outfielders that are very capable, everyday starters really, and we have too many of them that we're trying to mix them in. Obviously, Kian Vu has earned his way into the lineup every day. Harris Williams, Brandon Compton, obviously Mac and Isaiah, those guys out there, and trying to figure out ways to get Lance in the lineup as well, and those type of guys. It's good problems to have, but those guys are all capable of doing big things, and you're getting contributors from Mario Demera starting to get more comfortable. Steven Ondina, although I didn't like the bat flip, had a big home run there. Continues to swing and do his job, but up and down the lineup, guys are contributing. So that's the important thing.
Was that the warning from the umpire? Is that what that was about?
Yeah, I think that, and his shin guard came off halfway down the third base line, and the umpire thought he didn't see and I had to tell him that, hey, that's his foot guard came off. He wasn't doing that before he got to home plate, but I'll handle him on the bat flip thing. And to me, that's not what we're about. And I let Andy Jenkins, their first base coach, know that I handled that. That's not what we're about. We don't try to show guys up. It's not acceptable. But good swing, just keep it right there, and let's get around the bases, celebrate in the dugout. We don't need bat flips and stuff like that.
5 runs in the second inning, and getting on this pitching staff last 4 games straight early. How much confidence do you feel that gives in your starters like Ben Jacobs this past week, and Connor Markle and Hunter Omelet?
I think it certainly helps. It's a lot better than chasing, and when your offense gives you a nice lead, and to know that you just got to continue attacking the zone and throwing strikes, it gives those guys confidence. So this thing is cyclical, man. The pitchers help the hitters help the pitchers. When things are going well, this is, defense is picking everybody up. This is obviously a recipe for winning baseball. We've been on the flip side of that too, where one hurts the other, and it just kind of keeps snowballing. But we'll ride the momentum right now, and hopefully we continue to feed off each other. The pitching feeds off the offense, and vice versa. So, all around good win.
In the third inning, and kind of over the UCLA series, you've utilized the hit and run play, which ultimately it led to Ethan Mendoza's RBI triple. How important has that play been in your team's success so far?
Well, I think it's been huge, you know, and we're gonna, hopefully the situations keep presenting themselves where we can keep doing that, because I believe it not only makes our hitters offer and swing and not have to think so much, but puts the defense on their heels a little bit. And our guys have been executing it very well as of late. I'd like to keep doing that. We missed a couple of safety squeezes tonight, which we got to clean up and hopefully get better at that. But all in all, just kind of keeping the motion going is a lot more fun to brand of baseball to play and coach, and have guys that are able to execute it is a lot more fun for me.
I know you've talked a lot the whole season about making the guys think less and try to simplify it at the plate. Have you seen that these last 2 weekends?
Yeah, and I think a lot of that's just confidence and, you know, finding some holes, getting things going, and just an all around more upbeat brand of baseball, not so doom and gloom. And, you know, like I said, I'll take a little responsibility for that, because I try so hard to get these guys to, you know, grind and do it right, and sometimes I just gotta pull the throttle back and say, just go play, man. You know, it's not necessarily my personality, but maybe that's how this group responds. So they've responded outstanding lately. Just hey, go out and play, have fun, and do what you're capable of doing. And this is a lot more fun to watch them play this style of baseball.
It's a 4th straight game that you talked about consistently, the execution of this team, this ability to get 2 out base hits. Do you feel that, you know, ability for this group to kind of be a little more loose has allowed them to execute more?
Well, I made a reference after the Fullerton game. I said we're gonna start rolling the dice a little bit more. Like, hey, what do we got to lose at this point? You know, let's roll the dice and put the game in motion. Be ready to hit and run and hit, steal, squeeze, that type of stuff. And at the end of the day, you can talk about it all you want, but you got to get the runners on base to put in those situations. Guys have been getting on base even with 2 outs and nobody on. You know, rallies have been started with 2 outs, nobody on, and they just kind of keep going. And we've been able to do that at UCLA several times with nobody on and 2 outs. We end up scoring, you know, crooked numbers too. We did that tonight, right? I think with 2 outs, nobody on. I don't know if that was the 3rd inning but we ended up, you know, 2 outs, nobody on, put a rally together and scored runs. But you know, as far as the movement and those type of things, yeah, getting several guys on base and allows us to do those type of things. So hopefully we can continue that.
You said last week the expectation was Jacobs, Markle, and Omlid going on Sunday. Is that still the expectation for this weekend?
Markle will go tomorrow. We'll do everything we can to win tomorrow's game. And, you know, in a perfect world, you know, if we got to use Hunter Omlid tomorrow, we will. If we have to use him to win a game, we got to take one at a time. Every game is important, and if we got a chance to win, we got to win it. And we'll worry about the next day. But you know, the first 2 starters, I'm confident in saying, yeah, Ben Jacobs and Markle to start with. You know, again, I've said it before, we could put Benny, take one of our better bullpen arms and put him at the front end. We got to make sure we got enough help on the back end to get through games late if we have the lead. So that's why we have the TBD on Sunday. But you know, if we need him tomorrow, Omlid, then we need him. If we don't, then yeah, he'll start Sunday probably.
You had this a little bit with when you had the beginning of the season, the Friday night role being a little bit more consistent. How does that help out the bullpen? Obviously, you only had to use 1 bullpen arm tonight, and team was able to take it the rest of the way.
Again, starting pitching length. If they can get us to that, then we don't have to use as many arms. And I think took us a while to adjust with Tommy going down. You know, to stretch somebody out there for that Friday night, you know, role. But Benny's kind of gotten to that point now where he's been lengthened out and he's taking it and running with it, which is great. We needed somebody to step up, and that's what he's doing. So if we are fortunate enough to get Tommy back here in the near future, then add him to that rotation somewhere in there, and all of a sudden we're better for it in the long run, even though it wasn't fun there for a while.
Was there any news on his front, or it's still the same general idea?
He's progressing, so back to playing catch and starting to lengthen it out. So he's eager to get off the mound. We're ramping him up the right way again. I think he'll stretch it out to 120. I think on Monday is kind of the plan, and then after that, hopefully next week get him off the mound, start ramping him up. So I don't know how long that's going to be. You know, I don't anticipate he'd be back by next weekend, but maybe the weekend after we could see him for an inning or two, and if all goes really well. But again, we're going to be very careful with his health.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.